Catherine Austin, and welcome to Living Karma Yoga, a show where we celebrate all that the yoga world has to offer, from the postures to music, mantra, meditation, travel, cooking, and so much more. We hope you find here many tools to help you live the life you deserve, a life where you can literally vibrate love, joy, fulfillment, and abundance in all forms. So a native of Michigan and a longtime friend of mine today and colleague, Kelly Haskey, is with us to share her insights on how to live a well and actively as a type 1 diabetic. Kelly's been married for 28 years and is blessed with a beautiful daughter and son-in-law who are expecting their first child at any moment. Kelly's dog Winston is a source of constant companionship. And she enjoys being in nature, whether she's gardening or walking in the woods. She loves to travel, especially with me, and experience new things. She loves attending festivals where she can chant, meditate, and practice yoga with a like-minded group of people. Finding time to spend with her dear friends is especially important. And Kelly's also a professional massage therapist, implementing many different healing modalities. So I'd love to welcome Kelly today to the set. So glad you're here.
I'm so glad I'm here too. This is a celebration.
Oh, it is. And I just want to give a little history on us because I found my way to your table 18 years ago as I was just starting to enter the yoga world. And my body really needed it because I was, trying to change a body from the fitness world into more stretching and opening and letting go. And you were so helpful at retraining my muscles and helping them adjust to that shift. And then we just became such good friends over time. We were definitely meant to meet. We feel like soul sisters.
Truly.
And we've been on quite a journey together. So I'm so happy to have you here to share what I actually experienced a lot being with you over this lifetime.
Right.
And it was to learn that you are a type 1 diabetic. And I've been with you through it a lot with our traveling together and this yoga journey. So let's just start with tell us about your journey becoming a type 1 diabetic and what that's like.
Well, so the journey for me was I was pregnant with my daughter, my only daughter. And about 4 months into pregnancy, I started developing some symptoms that had some concerns. So I was labeled at that point a gestational diabetic.
Right.
Most gestational diabetics actually, are not diabetic after they give birth. That was not my story. I really discovered that my body had completely shut down 6 months after I had given birth and started a whole lifestyle of learning how to deal with diabetes, and eventually I was put on insulin because I was not able to control it through oral medication. So need I say, between being a mom for the first time and then really discovering this very different lifestyle of diabetes was a big challenge. And I thought to myself, I can either feel like a victim and, just there was great sadness, for sure.
Yeah, it's a big change.
But I wanted to be the triumphant seeker, I wanted, most of all, I had this beautiful new little being in my life, in our life, and I wanted to be available for her to the highest good that I could be, meaning healthy, available, as I needed to be. So that started my journey in really researching. I was my own guinea pig, but researching traditional and non-traditional ways of working with my diabetes. And I had already started practicing vegetarianism at the age of 17, and I was studying spirituality, so I was taking all of those pieces and then really diving much deeper into those layers to find the answers I needed.
So what did the journey look like from finding out at age 25, take us through like what you've been through and what did that look like and shifts and changes along the way, because now you're in your early 50s.
Right.
And you don't look it, of course. Amazing.
Thanks, Brent. There were an incredible amount of layers in the process. And how can I explain it? You know, it's like you're mourning, you have this condition, imbalance, and you have to go through the emotional pieces, and that's what I'd like to say to anybody diabetic, you know, diabetic 1 or diabetic 2, you do have these emotional components that you do have to take a look at. You have to just be with it. But then once you know, take a look at it, it's how can you move that energy in a way that you can empower yourself in the lifestyle that has been given. So there was a process to all of that, and I have to say that each layer, looking back, now having diabetes, insulin dependent for 25 years, that each layer had a gift. That gift came to me in a deeper ability to understand and really know who I was. So it feels very challenging initially, but you can move the energy. And I really encourage anybody who has any kind of a lifestyle condition to find a friend or somebody that they can communicate with who also share in that lifestyle, because there's really nobody knows like someone else who has the same thing. So I would encourage that. I went through many processes. I was a, quote, a brittle diabetic. And now I have so much better control, and I believe it's the lifestyle that I've chosen, and I've worked very hard.
So let's look at the lifestyle. I know you're a vegan, you're also a yogi, and then you moved into meditation. So you want to talk about those little stages and how they might assist somebody with the type diabetes you have?
I do. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind when I say my chosen lifestyle of the vegan meditation and yoga practice is anything that you can deliver to yourself that has stress reduction, that can bring balance into the systems of your body, is going to assist the balance in diabetes. And I feel like that is a really important piece, because and I've done it. You could eat the same thing every day and have different blood sugar readings.
Right. And I've seen that traveling with you.
And you know, and so, you know, I think what I want to say is it is so important to take time for yourself to find things that bring you happiness and balance and stress reduction.
So the yoga you use for not only stress reduction, but also glandular system balancing and anything else that you can attribute to the diabetes? For
sure. Okay, so I'll say this before I start with my yoga practice. For those of you who don't practice yoga, it is an absolute must that you exercise on a daily basis.
Okay, so why?
Daily basis, because you're assisting your whole system. We want to optimize what's happening in our body. We get hit, you know, oxidization, just imbalance, hormonal fluctuations. Things are happening daily for diabetics. So you have to support your body as best as you can. Oxygenating your body through exercise and movement is amazing. And I love to walk. I walk in nature. It's very healing. But the thing about yoga, and I'm very attracted to yoga since 17. But the thing that I want to say about yoga is it brings all of those aspects of breath, flexibility, oxygenating your body, and calming the systems down. Okay, it's like a power pack for an hour of practice. So I feel like I strengthened my systems through this modality of yoga.
Do you feel it's more efficient than just going to the gym? Do you feel like it's for diabetes?
For me, I can only speak for. Right. For me, yes, indeed. And, you know, we're all limited on time. But I feel that there's such an internal process that happens with yoga that is so balancing to the glands, to the lymph, you know, to the organs. And so I feel like it's a lot of value for the time.
And you're getting the whole mind, body, spirit connection, which isn't always happening at the gym.
Right.
Right. More physical body connection.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's important.
All right. So take us through what your daily lifestyle kind of looks like to manage the diabetes.
Okay. One thing about a diabetic is we do really great with a regimented pattern in life. That means our eating, that means our sleeping, that means our exercising. So that's one thing. I was a very free spirit at 25, and that was very challenging for me to know that I had to be so regimented. There's beauty in that space, and that's what I recognize now. And you know, I start my morning with a 2.5-hour practice of what was very valuable to me, and you know, our prayers, our morning yoga, our sadhana. And then I move into pretty much pretty close to the same type of meal every morning. I go and I do 8 hours at least a day doing massage therapy and just other healing things that happen at my office.
Yeah, those are big days then. That's a full day for you.
It's a full day, and it's a physical day.
Right, you're massaging people all day long. How many clients do you see in a day sometimes?
Yeah, you know, so maybe I'm seeing 5, but most of my client time is 1.5 hours.
Right,
okay?
and so it's a lot of energy output for a diabetic.
So the other thing that I want to say for diabetics is the sweetest gift you can give yourself is just testing your blood many times a day. I tested before I came on the show. It gives you a sense of comfort, and I think, you know, there's times where factual pieces are very important. To know what your number is, that's a very helpful thing. So I probably test 8 times a day.
Yep, I've seen you.
So yeah, and you know, everything in life constantly has a hit on your sugar, so you have to just be in tune in that way.
And I can see it when we travel to the other side of the world. We've been to India several times. Talk about changing your whole routine for a diabetic. When you say it's better to have a routine, I just turn you completely upside down. And you really managed well. You did manage so well. And different country, different food, different hours.
Different hours, yeah. I mean, you knew I was trying to calculate when I needed to take my long-acting insulin.
Right. We were calculating on the airplane rides because they're messing up all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the one thing I want to say, and you just brought it up. So, there's no sweeter gift in life than when the loved ones around you also really care and are so, you know, it's kind of like they've got your back when at moments maybe you're not in tune with something. And there were moments where you said, check your sugar, or are you okay? Or, you know, that check-in, having somebody be loving and kind and intuitive to be able to notice that I'm confused or that my color is white. Or, you know. You
needed that because you couldn't tell at those times, and I've been with you enough that now I know, and that I feel it come up.
Yeah, and my family as well too. So that's a really important thing for diabetics, to feel like they have that in their circle.
It's adamant. I can't even imagine. You need that support.
It is.
So then, in part of our journey being together, I remember when you got really interested in raw foods, and so you do a lot of raw. So can you tell us about your journey into raw and how that has helped you, and how much do you do of it today and stuff like that?
The journey in raw was very fun. So I was vegetarian, not a big deal to really, quote, go raw. Raw meaning nothing cooked, okay? I got to the point in my food journey where I wanted concentrated nutrition. I look at food as like prana, like a life force, okay? So everything that I consume, I want it to be so like nourishing for me, that it's loading me up with sustenance on so many layers. Through a series of events, I came into this documentary by Gabriel Cousens called Simply Raw. I watched it. I then connected to a certification class in raw, and that day, my first day, I said, I'm going totally raw. So I'm a very determined person, and it felt like the next. I'm also very experiential, so I wanted to experience this. What I had watched on the documentary is that people, type 1 and type 2 people, had like significantly more than half reduced their insulin.
That's huge.
It's so huge.
Why wouldn't you want to go raw, right?
Yeah. So I did. I did for 8 months, and it was fantastic. I dropped my insulins almost by half. So I went from my long-acting at 13 down to 7 or 8. My Humalog, I went from, it depends with Humalog, but Humalog was almost in half. And I was so into the lifestyle because I was feeling so amazing, and I had reduced my insulin. It was profound. It was profound.
I remember.
Profound.
So how much of your diet now is raw? And that got a little tricky when we did go to India because you don't want to eat raw in a foreign country. But now, what does your typical diet look like? Right.
So for me, now just coming off of the summer month, I'm 100% raw during the summer, maybe occasionally some grilled vegetables if I'm at someone's house. I will be probably about 80% raw during the winter. I will allow myself some lovely Ayurvedic soups, some nourishing to just warm myself because of the cold elements. But raw it's for me right now, and my body may change, I'm still resonating a lot with it. So.
Now, raw, though, isn't for everybody's constitution, right? So what might work for you with your diabetes?
Right.
I can't do raw. I'm more vata. I need fire in my belly to digest my food. So is there other lifestyle or dietary things that would be suggested for someone that can't do raw so much to help with their diabetes?
Well, I think that's a great question. And I think what happens is this. You try and implement more raw into your diet, whether it's a green smoothie, just a green juice. Like maybe it's one extra thing. Maybe you're going to say, absolutely, I'm going to have a salad every day, but it's not going to be a cold salad. It's going to be a warmer salad with lots of olive oil. So there's ways to kind of change the energetics of, for Vata people, to change the energetics so there is a better digestive process. Anything that you can do to just concentrate the nutritional experience, I feel, assists diabetes. So, and when we went to India, so I took a month and I went into cooked foods again, and then I was 100% cooked food when we were there.
Right, so you can switch back and forth. And not ideal, but you could for travel.
And I did switch, and it didn't impose upon my insulin that much. So that's the other thing I was so excited about, was like, wow, I can still go back to cooked, and it's really like I'm not shifting my insulin so much. And I think during those 8 months of raw, I think my body did like, I think something shifted. I really do.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
So we want to have enough time to talk about what you brought with us to help share for diabetics. And this is amazing, this raw chocolate here.
Yeah. So what I'd like to say about raw chocolate, first of all, it's fantastic.
And you made this.
I did.
Right.
I make this like that, and I'm not kidding when I say that. And you've had these before, so you know. This is
they're so beautiful.
Coconut oil, coconut butter, liquid stevia, coconut nectar.
Wow.
You can do probably for this amount about 4 tablespoons of raw cacao. So that's just mixed together. You can add to this cashews, almonds, goji berries, coconut. I mean, that's where it gets fun. You can really mix it up. You can also use the the cacao recipe to dip chocolate in, or like any fruits that you enjoy. But what I want to tell you about this is like low glycemic. And when I say low glycemic, I mean super low. Like this whole thing probably has 7 grams of carbohydrates total. So you can eat these and actually nourish yourself diabetically, which is crazy because coconut oil, coconut butter actually assist to lower your blood sugars. not only does it do that, but it actually assists to nourish the brain. Raw cacao is another powerful ingredient, and I say raw because cooked does change the energetics of cacao.
Where do we get raw cacao?
We can buy it now at any of our health food stores. It'll say raw cacao powder.
And all these ingredients easily at stores
They
now.
really are. The liquid stevia has been a little harder to find, and NutriFoods in Royal Oak always carries it.
Okay. Whole
So-
Foods, is it hard to find there?
Whole Foods, I just noticed they started carrying it.
Okay.
So, but
We're going to talk about raw cacao. So
yeah. So anyways, for raw cacao, it's the highest source of magnesium. Diabetics really need their minerals, and magnesium is a very powerful mineral for diabetics. So it also helps to lower blood sugar. So what I want to say about this is actually like, this is like bringing goodness into the body. It's not like, oh, I shouldn't be having chocolate. It's like, thank you for nourishing my body. And that's what I want to say, I think, mostly about some of the choices in this conscious style of eating is you can have total satiation and have total fulfillment and enjoyment. So
I can't even imagine managing type 1 diabetes without this kind of knowledge, because what kind of foods are out there for the typical...
Don't get me started. Well, here's what's out there. Processed things that are chemicals, that are not healthy, that actually have side effects for our body. These have been the choices for diabetics in the past. Imitation, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always sometimes feel bad if you might be with me and I am enjoying this like dessert or this chocolate, and you can't because it'll just send you through the roof, you know.
Right.
So it's so wonderful that you have alternatives to be able to enjoy life as well.
I do. And you know, the other thing that I think is such an important, two things that I want to say that I think are so important for a diabetic. One, that you're always carrying some source of food, you know, glucose with you. There is never a more anxious moment than when you realize you have not brought something with you.
Right.
And I've been there.
Right.
So I really encourage that.
Well, speaking of that, when we travel, you always have your food bag.
I do.
So you are well equipped wherever we are. If we're in the middle of India and nowhere, you've got what you need to have, which is key. I mean, you just can't stop at the roadside stand.
Well, I mean, not only did I have a food bag, let's be honest, I had a suitcase. I had a suitcase full of goodies, okay? Yeah. But they were all sustaining things.
But you have to.
It's like life or not, okay?
Right.
That's the truth.
So where could someone go to get this kind of knowledge on this type of food to manage? Well, besides, they can also see you for private consultations.
Absolutely. That would be just a pure joy to share my knowledge in my time of experimenting.
Are there good books out there, or a website you would direct them to?
Oh boy, there are great books. I mean, I have to say Gabriel Cousins, because he's the one who did Simply Raw. He has a beautiful, beautiful offering of books, and I mean, his website alone. David Wolf, Andrea McNitch is in our area, and she teaches Raw, and that's who I studied with initially.
Are there books specifically on managing diabetes in a more holistic way, or are they also included in that book?
I would say Gabriel Cousins, probably top of the list, because that's really where he focuses. You have to just Google and look. You know, you become a researcher. You become your own physician. You become the intuitive practitioner of taking care of yourself.
And that's the most important part, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I've spent hours and hours and hours doing this work. And that's why I hope I can share it and shed some light for somebody else who may be at some layer struggling, trying to figure out what is their balance to be happy and fulfilled. So
the process of making these pretty simple. Could someone do it easily?
I put on my Facebook, I had an hour for lunch the other day, and I whipped up raw chocolate and kale chips. So the answer is yes. This takes 2 seconds. I use a double boiler, I place my coconut butter and my coconut oil in the double boiler, let it become liquid, take it off. I add my liquid ingredients, the nectar and the stevia, whip. I use a little like whisk, basically. I'll add my raw cacao at that point, whisk some more, nice and smooth you're looking for. Then I'll add whatever like flavor I'm into at the moment. You know, it could be, well, it was cashews in this one, but it could be almonds, walnuts, whatever. And then I do a little pinch of Celtic salt because, believe it or not, salt brings out the wonderful taste of sweet. So just a tiny pinch. And then I have a cute little chocolate mold that I pour this into.
Yeah, these are amazing.
This is like in a liquid form, so I pour it into the mold. I throw it in the freezer literally for half an hour, pop it out, pop those out, and that's it.
And they are so good.
And the fun thing is that the chocolate, you can use, you know, strawberries, and I think I said that, but all different kinds of things. So it does, like, you know, it doesn't have to just be a chocolate. You can dip, like a fondue chocolate, you know.
Where do you get those great little forms?
The forms I found, Martha Stewart has a beautiful, like it's like a cookie sheet, and just, you know, all different, you know, these variations, and you just like literally liquid each one, bop, 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 and that's it.
Oh, I love it.
I know, so they're really fun, and they're fun gifts to give to people, and when I have them, I love to give them to my clients after a massage because the magnesium is sourcing their muscles. You know, it's a sweet little treat to leave with.
Unbelievable. This is so healthy and how good this is for you.
Well, but this is life. You know, we're so conditioned in our culture to be into these low-calorie, low-fat, lifestyle. And we've lost the essence of even the taste and the communication of true food, pure food. So this is pure food, and it tastes amazing. So...
Well, oh my gosh, we could keep on going.
We could.
Easily. But I'm so excited that you've been here to share this beautiful journey. And it's been my honor to walk it with you to see how incredibly well you manage this, which could be a burden to some people. It's not. I forget you're even diabetic half the time. You just manage it so beautifully.
Well, I think it's, again, you know, you can see it half empty or half full.
Right.
And you can look at it as it's part of your soul's experience in life to understand this. So,
well, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and I also want to thank my dear friend Kelly Haskey as well. And if you like what you see here, in fact, we'll put this recipe up on the website.
Absolutely.
Go to our website, www.karma-yoga.net. Namaste.